Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies, a podcast about people sharing extraordinary stories about how music has impacted their lives.
Welcome, everyone, to Music Junkies. Our guest today, oh my goodness, I'm super excited. He's a game show host, public speaker, podcaster, a writer. You know, he's been on the radio as a DJ, karaoke host. Oh my God, I can't even wait to get to those stories, right? Virtual game host, like the list goes on and on and on. You opened up for Billy Idol, you emceed at Toby Keith's bar. Like, what don't you do, Mike? Like, what don't you do?
Well, it's been a long career for sure, and a lot of different places. But when you're kind of a freelance entertainer, that's how that shakes out. You end up getting a lot of different gigs. Yeah.
And I think you feel like awesome when you get to write like all these titles down. You're like, yeah, look at all the stuff I did.
Yeah, well, I think it's fun, but I'm really excited to be here on this podcast because I haven't talked music in a while. It has been a few years since I've actually DJ'd or done anything in radio. I've been mostly doing motivational speaking in these games and game shows and stuff. So I'm really excited to dig back into it.
I love it. So before we get started, I always like to ask my guests, what was your experience putting your playlist together? And if you could describe your playlist to somebody, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as fun and playful. That's my word and my personality. That's kind of my personal brand, but that's kind of the music that I like. I always have since I was a kid. I appreciate a good song in any genre, and a good slow song every now and then too. You know, it has its purposes for sure. But my style is fun and playful one. So I call it kind of college rock. There's a lot of pop. I love a lot of 80s and any type of humor song. So like Weird Al or any parody or the Barenaked Ladies because they're funny. I love all of that because it's witty and fun and it puts me in a good mood. One of the reasons I listen to music is to, you know, elevate my energy and my mood. So that's, I think, how I would describe the general vibe of this podcast, but it was not easy. It was very hard for me to pick. I think we're down to 10. That's really tough because as a DJ and I have thousands of songs in my collection, and I would say I probably have over 150 favorite songs that are in a regular rotation on my playlists and stuff.
Yeah, it's so hard to pick 10. And sometimes when you pick one, it leads to the rabbit hole of another one to another one. And then you're like, oh, do I want to go down there? No, I got to go back there and like, oh, remember this song. And then, yeah, you're right. It's so hard to pick 10. Like it would be
the hardest one for me was just the Barenaked Ladies because I'm a huge fan. I own every song they've ever released, and to only put one on the list because I wanted to get other people in there was the hardest part. I could have done all 10 with just my top 10 Barenaked Ladies. So maybe we'll come back and do that sometime.
We will for sure. So you're ready for your first song? This is like one of my favorite songs. So I love when somebody has this song on there. I love Billy Joel, Only the Good Die Young. Like such a good song. Why do you love that song so much?
Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, I love Billy Joel. I think growing up as an 80s kid, Billy Joel and ELTON JOHN and just all of the fun music around there was really great. But I was also raised Catholic. So I went to Catholic school for 11 years as a kid. And when Only the Good Die Young came out, it was kind of like, oh, this is fun. This is something for me. This is like a Catholic guy from, what is it, New York, you know, singing about my story and stuff here and having some fun with it. But I could have again picked like 5 to 10 Billy Joel songs for a list of my favorites. So, you know, for the longest time, I love We Didn't Start the Fire. I know all the lyrics to that and everything. And that's kind of one of the songs that I like because it teaches you a lesson. It's a very smart written song, right? I think I picked Only the Good Die Young because I feel like it relates to me and it's just a good, fun message that's playful and it's, you know, telling you like, hey, let's go out here and live it. Like life isn't meant to be held back and muted. It's meant to be, on full volume. And so I think that's a great
way
to start.
Right? Absolutely. So you said you're an 80s baby. So let's kind of go back to the 80s. And I know you had to have loved some kind of hair band in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's changed over time. So I'm more of like.
Back then, what was your favorite 80s band to listen to?
I think it was probably Aerosmith, I think. Okay. And a lot of great songs, a lot of great music videos on MTV and stuff there in the 80s. But I love Poison. I love Guns N' Roses and all of the stuff that came out there, and kind of that hair band genre is all good. Like more of like the classic rock stuff, not so much for me. That was a little like before my time. And then some of the pop rocky stuff I just put into the pop bucket. Right. And I didn't get over into the metal or grunge too much, but I love alternative music too. So anything like the Ramones or the White Stripes, or anything that's like fun, got a great guitar riff, and will like I guess that's sort of a theme here we're building already, but a little bit like subversive, like Green Day and Weezer, all of that stuff as a teenager or young boy is like, that's right up my alley. They're speaking my language, right?
I love it. So I want you to go back to the 80s, and if you could be any front man for a day, who would you be?
Oh, wow. It's funny, and I don't know why. Like I know, and like in modern woke times, I should not be shy about saying this, but I love like Elton John or like George Michael and Wham, and like just anybody that is really like out there and having fun. Like I would love to just do that and try it. I've been Elton John for about, I don't know, 3 to 5 Halloweens in my 20s, and my George Michael several times too. I have the glasses and a wig over here. I will do that on a regular basis for a laugh, for sure.
I love it. So you're a DJ for a long time. What was the most requested song?
Ooh, that's a good question. It could go a lot of ways. And I know you said I have full permission to curse on this show.
Yeah.
But sure. I'm on radio. It was trained out of me for 7 years not to do that on a microphone. But as a DJ, the most requested and most fun song to play is Prince Pussy Control at about like 1 o'clock in the morning when everybody's hammered. That's
when all the good dancing comes out too.
Yeah, exactly. That's when it gets fun for me.
I love it. Okay, next song. It's a little bit of a slow start, but Michael Jackson, Man in the Mirror. I love MJ.
Yeah, and that's another one that I just kind of grew up with his solo career, right? So I was born in 79, and in the 80s, he's huge. The Thriller video comes out when I'm right at that young age where it's scary for me, but also just so awesome. And he's turning into a panther or whatever. Was that the black and white video or the bad video? Yeah. And just Michael Jackson was as big as he ever was during my youth there. So we're kind of going in chronological order here, but I performed black and white in a middle school talent show where I lip synced and danced like Michael Jackson. And I had this black and white outfit, and other girls in the middle school class doing their dance routine behind me for a talent show. And I don't know, I guess I have a high need for approval or something, because I love the people that are putting on a show. They're having fun, anything to create a positive energy. That's another person that's like, when you watch a Michael Jackson show, you can't be depressed and see what he's doing on stage. So I just love that energy.
So how many Michael Jackson outfits did you own?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably 2. So the one I like the white button-up shirt, that he blows in the wind and like flicks back with his hands, and you got the dance move. Yeah, for sure. And then you got to have like a Thriller jacket with the black jeans and the red leather jacket, for sure.
Did you have a glove?
I never had a sparkly glove. I should have, but I
Yeah.
didn't. Yeah. I don't know if Billie Jean was a little before
them
my
ever
time.
selling those. Like I had like the pants and the jacket. I had a black one and a red one, but I don't ever remember, like thinking back, ever remember buying just the glove. They must have had like Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah, for
I just
sure.
don't
Other
remember
people
them ever doing that.
Yeah, I kind of remember other people having it. Maybe I just felt like it was too cliche, or I was a little past that time. So that was when I was a little bit younger and more like I was more in the bad like black and white era. And
you're a little bit younger, yeah. Did you ever go see him in concert, or who was your favorite concert that you've ever seen?
Oh, that's good. I didn't get to see Michael Jackson. I was bummed about that for sure. I have seen Billy Joel. I have seen a ton of concerts, so we could go deep on this one. But I wanted to mention one thing that I noticed here too. On the first two we picked, I had a Billy Joel CD that I just left on repeat, like his greatest hits when I was a kid, and I would like fall asleep to it. Same thing with Michael Jackson and Man in the Mirror and PYT and all the stuff on his greatest hits. Like you could just put in Bad and just listen to it all day and not even have to put in another CD. So I know for those of us that are a little older, you know, we didn't have a shuffle button and it was a big pain in the butt to change a cassette or a record or a CD. So I love those first two, especially because you could just put them in and the whole thing is great. So I was kind of picking one song out of there, but the whole thing is great. Now for concerts, Garth Brooks is definitely the best concert I've ever been to and best showman, but I also love the Barenaked Ladies. And well, I'm sure we'll hit both of these later here, but they just put on a show. So it's not going and listening to their record really loud, right? They're talking to the audience, they're putting on a show, they have funny bits, they'll do covers of other people's songs, they get the audience involved, and they're really, really great shows. But I've seen a lot in radio because that's one of the perks. They don't pay you in cash. They pay you in concert tickets and free t-shirts. So
experiences, which is good.
Yeah,
you must have a lot of concert shirts.
I do, not as many like concerts as much as like the promotional sponsors. A lot of like Bud Light and booze, vodka t-shirts and stuff. Yeah, for sure.
All right, I love this song. You have such a good playlist. Maneater. Have you ever seen your kids? Have you ever seen their daughters perform?
No.
Oh my God. You have to look up Hall & Oates. Their kids have a band. It's two girls and it's all raunchy humor. Like it's out of
I think that's just a parody band. Are they related? Garfunkel and Oates?
I think they're their daughters.
Oh, I didn't think so. I thought they were just comedians that picked the funny funny name there. But I have seen Garfunkel and Oates. They're hysterical, and I love. I'm not going to remember the. I will in a second. But the shorter girl, she's a hilarious comedian, and she was in Scrubs and a whole bunch of other TV shows and stuff that I love too.
That's funny. So why do you love Maneater?
Hall & Oates is my cheesy one. So I wouldn't say that I've been really, badass so far here in my playlist. But Hall & Oates and Air Supply and people like that from the 80s are like just the like guilty pleasure. It's like so fun. They have romantic songs. And so whether it's, Sarah Smile or Hall & Oates, most of the poppy ones just get me too. But I tried to pick these artists because I love like the whole CD. There's not one Hall & Oates song. I could listen to about 12 of them. And in fact, I often do. But Maneater specifically is a funny like song. It's a funny concept, and I don't even think when I first heard it I understood like what it meant and everything, but it was hysterical. And it also reminds me of another middle school story that I did, the true story of the Big Bad Wolf. This was this was my first like on stage solo performance for real. I did a storytelling contest with a book by John Skaska. It's called The True Story of the Three Little Pigs, and it's hysterical too. You got to check it out. It's the best children's book I think ever. So they tell the classic story of the Three Little Pigs, but from the wolf's perspective, and he's in jail trying to make up a story that would explain why he ate these three little pigs. And I did voices and all kinds of stuff, and I won first place in like 5 storytelling competitions.
Wow.
In 8th grade. And so Maneater kind of reminds me of that time. It's like, oh, that's the big bad wolf time. That's when I was in middle school and learning how to perform and find my voice. And I just think there's something uplifting and fun about Hall & Oates and cheese. And I think Daryl Hall might take himself a little bit more seriously than Oates or than I do, but I also put them in that bucket with Air Supply, where they know how cheesy they are. I've seen them in concert. In Kansas City, they play like Valentine's Day here at the casino every year, and it's hysterical. It's an awesome Valentine's Day to go make love out of nothing at all, and it's so funny. Like they lean into it hardcore, and I love people that own their voice.
I love it. So have you ever dated a girl that was a man eater? Right?
Oh.
She's just obsessed with you and wanted you all the time.
That's a good question. Yes, I probably have. I can't think of a specific situation here, but there are definitely a couple of times in radio and DJing in my youth where you ran into somebody that thought it was interesting that I was on stage, and I was definitely not in that relationship for love.
So then you have used your DJing hosted events to sleep with girls then?
Well, that's an interesting way of putting it. I wouldn't say I used it to sleep with girls. I would say I definitely chose it to meet girls, and that's how I met my wife. So she can't complain too much.
That's right.
But I thought, hey, most people pay, $100 or $200 to go out for a night. I can go out for a night, make $200, and get all of the girls to at least notice me, right? And I would have a conversation starter. So my plan was like, if it was sheer batting average, if I'm not going to be cool, if I can't be like a badass or meet girls, anywhere else, if I could at least get the attention of like 1,000 girls a week on stage, I could eventually find somebody that would date me or sleep with me or marry me. And all of those happened. So it was great. It worked out.
What was your favorite DJ event that you ever hosted?
Ooh, that is tough. I got a couple of stories here. One is, the biggest one was when I opened for Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons here. It was an outdoor concert, and there's probably 12,000 people there. And I went on stage first to play music. And so there wasn't any warming up or anything. It was just, the house background music playing. And I go on, and I decided to play a song first before I said anything, so I could kind of just to get my bearings and everything. So I played a song, and I took a deep breath to talk. And I just played another song. I was like, all right, I'm going to need another round. That's a lot of people out there. So after the second song, I finally got into it and started doing my MC thing and having fun with it. But that was definitely a memory. And then other than that, there are some great DJ memories. I DJ'd a party for, I don't know how to describe it other than like some sort of cross-dressing wedding / swingers party or something. I didn't really know what I was getting into there, but they had seen me at another show and booked me to do the show. And I was just, but it was a blast and an insane audience and a memory I'd never forget. But I also did shows on the night of 9/11, 2001 in Kansas City. And I did shows where I got maced by police because a fight broke out and I was trying to protect the equipment and like push the huddle of, fighting people away from my equipment. Wow. And, I have, just all kinds of crazy memories over the years of different shows. It'd be really hard to pick one.
I love it. So your next song, you love these guys. You've already said it.
Yeah.
What would you do if you had $1 million?
Yeah, Barenaked Ladies, If I Had $1 Million. And I had to go with the original one for Barenaked Ladies because I discovered them in college. So it was probably about 97, 98 is when they came on the scene, and it was right as I was coming on the scene. So I feel like I've grown up with them as well. And this transitions into my more adult years. So now it's not, rather than like cheesy kid, pop stuff, this is more of my adult and college age 20s personality. But even the Barenaked Ladies songs now really speak to me because they've had breakup songs when I've been breaking up, or they've had songs about being married and having kids and stuff. I don't have any kids, but I feel like I've really grown up with their music a lot. But when I heard If I Had $1 Million, I didn't know that a song could be good and an improv comedy act at the same time, and could be funny and lyrical and have people sing along. And when I went to their show, their concert live, when they say we wouldn't have to eat craft dinner anymore, but we would, people threw open boxes of macaroni on the stage, and it like looked like it was snowing, just like covered them, and they loved it. They thought it was hysterical, and they stop the show for a while and they sweep up all the macaroni and stuff, and they do a medley of other people's songs while they're cleaning up, and they really leaned into it. And I just thought, these guys are having the most amount of fun. They are in it like they couldn't. And it's also been a theme here already, but they're not cool. They are massive rock stars. They're in the Canadian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right? They're huge, but they're not, wearing sexy outfits and, makeup or anything like crazy. They don't put on leather jackets. Like, they are just dudes. They're regular dudes having the most amount of fun, and they're smart and they're talented. And for me, just like the whole package of what I want to be.
Yeah, I love it. Who's the most famous person you've met through your journey of hosting, DJing, TV, radio?
Oh, wow. Is it time to tell the Billy Idol story, or should I save that one?
Yeah, I love it. Tell it.
Okay. So I think it would be Billy Idol if you went for like international, who knows the most amount of people. But when Billy Idol came to Kansas City in like 2004, his opening act got sick, and they called the retro radio station, which I was a DJ on, and said, hey, we got like an hour to fill. We don't want to, start the show at 7:00 because some people will be, showing up later for Billy Idol, or we want there to be some, energy and momentum and stuff. So we have about 45 minutes to an hour to kill from the time the doors open until Billy Idol goes on. Do you have anybody that could play retro music? Well, I was the only one that was a radio DJ and a club DJ at the station. So I got volunteered, and I was like, yes, I'm in. They were going to pay me some money. I was going to meet Billy Idol, get his autograph, and all kinds of cool things. So I get to the radio, or get to the venue, get my equipment set up, and go back to meet Billy Idol and his manager. And it was crazy. I have met a lot of famous celebrities, and we played basketball with Nick Lachey backstage when they were touring, and all kinds of fun stuff. And they were all cool people. But when Billy Idol turns the corner in the hall and you see the white spiky hair and the black leather jacket and the black jeans, you're like, holy crap, that's a rock star. You're just like, oh shit, like this is Billy Idol, and it was kind of the first time again that like my breath's taken away. I kind of tense up, and I'm like, oh man, this is for real. And he's got that accent in the voice too, right? So, hey mate, how's it going? And you're like, oh my gosh, I'm meeting Billy Idol. And so I shake his hand, I talk to the manager, and they basically said a couple of things. They said, don't play any Billy Idol songs because we're going to play those later in the night. It's a rock show, play mostly rock music. And then they said, whatever you play on the radio is fine. I said, deal, I can do that. Well, I start doing my set and it's going well, but I'm playing like retro music because I feel like Billy Idol, it's like, Rick Springfield, Jenny 8675309, all of those kind of go together in my head. And the manager comes out and goes, "We thought we said play rock music, like the Rolling Stones." And that's when the panic set in, because I'm a club DJ and there's only like 2 rock songs that you can dance to. It's "You Shook Me All Night Long" and "Pour Some Sugar on Me" by Def Leppard. The rest of them are not really dance songs. And this was before the time of internet and Wi-Fi and downloads. So a lot of DJs these days don't know the struggle, but I couldn't get any more music than what I brought. So I start frantically looking. I'm 3 songs in, so about like 15 minutes into an hour set. I was like, I have 45 minutes to kill and I don't have 45 minutes worth of rock music. So I found a couple. I played like a Rolling Stone song, like a dance, kind of song of theirs, and maybe like, I don't know, "Sweet Home Alabama" or something that I knew like people would sing along to and was kind of more classic rocky, even though it's country. It was kind of a stretch, but I was like, God, that'll at least like buy me 5 more minutes so I can search through all my CDs to find something. I don't find anything. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to play another retro song. But now that I played 2, maybe, like they won't be upset if I switch it up. And I had this joke about Casey and the Sunshine Band, "Do a little dance, make a little love, and get down tonight," but not in that order. Save the making love for the end of the night. It should be, do a little dance, get down, and make love. Yeah. And so I play the song and just the lights come down. My music is off. I have no control over anything. I look over to the side and the manager's like, "You're done." And I got fired live on stage in front of about 5,000 people. And I collected my equipment. I did not pass go. I did not collect $200. I just got the hell out of there. So I tell everybody now I got fired live on stage by Billy Idol in front of about 5,000 people. But once that happened, it made me bulletproof. I felt like after that, I was like, what a gift. I had the guts to do it. I gave it my best shot. And any other show after that, I can't have that much stage fright over, right? It's like, well, there you go. That's that happened. So now we can move on, and I don't get worried about this podcast or any other shows that I do now, because it's not going to be worse than that.
Oh my God, that's awesome. I love it. Next song. I haven't heard that song in a long time. Back that thing up.
Yeah, Juvenile. And I put that one on the list. It's not one of my favorite songs. It is a good dance song, but it's not my favorite hip hop song. If I had to pick one, it would probably be Outkast, like Hey Ya, or something from that time period. But this is my club DJ days. This is right when I was in it. So after college, I'm in my 20s. I'm playing Juvenile and Nelly and Outkast, and there's a lot of good like dance hip hop in that range. And all of the pop music, in my opinion, went to shit. So that's like the era of Britney Spears and boy bands, and Paris Hilton had a hit. Like, just pop music was shit. But hip hop was pretty good and where the talent was. But the reason I picked Juvenile, Back That Ass Up, is that I was playing in a club and this big lady was backing that ass up, and she tripped over a chair, and she hit the front window of the bar and fell out of the bar, crashed through the window out into the street, backing that ass up. And I feel bad for her. I don't mean to make fun of her or call her a big lady, but I don't know who she was. And it was an ass that backed up into a plate glass window and out of the bar. And she came back in and kept dancing and did not slow down. The bar was a little upset, but the morning DJs for the top 40 radio station were in the club that night, and they thought it was hysterical. And so that's how I met them, and that's how I got into radio, really. I had done karaoke contests for the radios and DJ'd a little bit, but how I got on the top 40 station, Mix 93.3 here in Kansas City, was the morning show. Could never forget the Back That Thing Up incident that happened in Gladstone, Missouri. So when I needed a gig a little bit later, I called them and was able to get on weekends and then nights there at Mix 93.3.
So when you were obviously DJing or radio host, obviously you're dealing with a whole bunch of different types of personalities. stars, celebrities, whatever they think they are, right? All these different types of walks of life. In that kind of mix, have you ever thought, oh my God, this person should not think so highly of themselves because you really haven't made it there yet?
Yeah.
So,
yes, it happens a lot. So the ones I always describe, I met REO Speedwagon after they were famous. This was again in like the 2000s when I was in radio. And I picked them up at the airport, drove them to the radio stations, then out to Royal Stadium to sing the national anthem for opening day. And then they had a concert that night. So I drove them out to the concert and I loved them. They were the best. I had their cell phone numbers. They drank water and apples were the only thing on their rider that they wanted. And we hung out, we took music, talked music. They were interested in me. They were just great old guys appreciating the rock stardom that they had and all that it had given them. And they were amazing about giving back and doing charity work and all kinds of cool things. I was like, man, they are just awesome. And their music is great. REO Speedwagon is amazing. And there's a story here where they played in Kansas City riding the storm out, and a huge storm with like tornado warnings and sirens came in, and a huge lightning strike hit right behind the stage when they were playing and riding the storm out. And everybody got like goosebumps, and it was amazing. And it was just like an incredible thing that they like kept playing through all this. Probably shouldn't have, but it was a memory for everybody here that got to see it in Kansas City. The opposite of that happened the following weekend. Jesse McCartney came in. You know him? He had like one pop song in the 2000s, and he was a complete dick. He was just an asshole, like an 18, 20-year-old kid. I don't know how old he was there, somewhere between like 18 and 24. But like a crazy writer, all kinds of things, you know, not like the picking out the M&M colors, but almost that bad of specific sizes and labels of waters, and just was like, didn't want to talk to anybody. They're like, don't make eye contact, don't talk to Jesse McCartney and everything. And we're like, what in the world? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I think what I learned through all of that is that if you're a good person, it's so much more powerful, you know, when you're a celebrity even, than when you're not. And I guess how I feel about that is the long-term success. Like the ones that I've met that really made it, like REO Speedwagon has sold a lot more records. Maybe it's not even a lot more records than Jesse McCartney because he was later. Maybe he sold a bunch in a time they were selling a bunch. But I got to imagine the longevity of their career compared to his is for a reason, you know. And when you find out, like I've gotten to see Oprah and other people like speak in person and see them behind the scenes a little bit. Same thing with a famous radio guy named Dave Ramsey. He does financial talk radio and planning and stuff. He was amazing, super generous person. Behind the scenes, he took care of every staff member and shook hands with every person in the radio station, not just the people that were writing the check, but like everybody behind the scenes who were pushing buttons and making him look good and lit well and everything. And I was just like, wow, he's got it right. He's got it figured out
to do that.
Yeah. And they stay in business and in their career so much longer when you realize that it's not you, that fame is really a lot of luck and you have to have talent too, but it's mostly luck of whether your song hits the right time and there's not competition, or it strikes a nerve with the culture and other things that, you know, the people that make it are really grateful that they found that luck and that they get to do this for the rest of their life. And the other a-holes believe that it was them, that nobody else would have done it, and that it was all their talent that got them.
And you should be nice to radio hosts. They do actually play your song, and if you
right,
me off, I might not play your song. Oh, sorry, I didn't get to your song on my set. Maybe the next guy. No, that guy's like, fuck you, you're an asshole. I'm not going to play your song.
Yeah, nobody's going to go out of your way to help you. Right?
That's right. Okay, we're going to play some weird songs.
Do it.
Some Weird Al.
Oh, yeah.
I love Weird Al.
Yeah, that one's white and nerdy. There is there's a Millennium album that came out in the late 2000s as well, or still in that time frame, that white and nerdy, obviously, I relate to a lot. I don't think other people see me as nerdy as I do, because I have made up for it significantly by trying to do cool things like radio and DJ and acting and podcasts and all kinds of stuff. But inside, I was a computer nerd in my 20s. I got straight A's, had perfect attendance in high school, and I wore a bolo tie in my senior photo. I don't know how that happened. I don't even know how I owned one at the time. I think my grandparents went to Arizona or something right before that, and I didn't like any of the other ties. So I definitely relate to the song, but I wanted to make sure Weird Al got on here, and so I picked that to kind of represent me. But Weird Al goes all the way back. I feel like I grew up with him too when I was as a younger kid, things like Eat It and stuff, all the way up to now. I got to see him in concert multiple times, and it's another hysterical show. They do costume changes, and he had this bit. There was like the REO Speedwagon, about a 20% chance of rain the day of the concert. And we go, and it just pours. It's like a massive monsoon. The show gets delayed by like an hour and a half, and everything is soaked. All the people are soaked, the equipment's soaked. And they come up, and it shows this like Al TV thing, and it's like, and it pops up, and Al's running around. He's like, the new disaster movie of the summer of 2010, 20% chance of rain. And he's in Kansas City, out in the park that he had filmed earlier that day. And he's like, kids, take cover. There's a 20% chance of rain. And they say, you mean you don't even know if it's going to rain or not? He's like, that's right. We just don't know. And he was like making it all dramatic and being silly. And I thought, again, like, this is somebody that's just like living their best life. They're smart and intelligent, but not afraid to be silly and goofy as well. And that's the thing for my life. That playful but intelligent persona is just somebody that I super relate to. And I love Weird Al and what he does. And he can sing multiple and play multiple instruments and genres and voices and octaves and all kinds of things that you're like, he might be one of the most talented musicians of our time, and he does it spinning, writing funny parody songs.
I love it. I love it. If you could be any animal in the world, what animal would you be and why?
I used to say tiger. I was kind of a Missouri tiger fan, and it's a good animal. It's fierce, it's badass, it's fun. My wife loves tigers. That's a plus as well. That's her favorite animal. So I would probably say that, or I don't know. I need to think of something more goofy, right? Those are my two personalities. So
if that's your personality, it's your animal.
Laughing hyenas aren't as cute and stuff. I like the name, but that's not the My laugh can be heard for miles too when it's outside.
All right, next song. About him today, right? Love that. December 1963. What a night.
Yeah, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons. So I've told that story already, but opening up for them on stage was the largest live live performance of my career. But since then, I've gotten to do large virtual things. So it's kind of weird, especially now in the pandemic. I just did a big talk this week in front of a couple of hundred people, not thousands, but hundreds in the pandemic. And I was a little rusty. It was like, oh, I haven't been on a stage. It was a concert stage at a casino, and I haven't done that in 18 months. And so it kind of took me back a little bit. I found my voice, or my air, being a little shallow, and my energy up a little bit, and my pacing a little bit too fast, because I was knocking some rust off. But I'm glad that I got a chance to do it. But virtually since then, I mean, I've had 10,000 people on a webinar, or hundreds of thousands of people on the radio listen. But when you can't see them, it's such a different thing. So ultimately, I decided to get out of radio, because even if I'm on the top 40 station, there's 100,000 people listening at drive time, and I tell a super funny joke that I thought of, I don't get to hear any of them laugh.
No, yeah.
Maybe my friend calls into the radio station, that knows me and goes, "Hey man, that was really funny. I like that one." And you're like, "Thanks. I'm glad I got one piece of feedback out of the 100,000
recognition. Tell me a little bit about Playful Humans.
Yeah, Playful Humans, it was my COVID baby. I have been working on some motivational speaking around creativity and playfulness and kind of what we've been talking about here, living your full voice stuff. And I started a podcast with Playful Humans around talking to people who play for a living, who really have found their personal brand, that aren't afraid to be silly and go for it, but also use some sort of game or fun. So it might be a guy that surfs with his dog and wins surfing competitions and dog surf competitions. He's been on television a bunch. This weekend, I'm interviewing DC from Tag Team, and whoop, there it is. We could have put that one on the list with Juvenile as well. To magicians that have fooled Penn and Teller, or people that do children's cartoons, or cartoonists, the founder of Comedy Central. And Playful Humans is really kind of my mission to help adults rediscover the power of play, and that you can have fun. You don't have to take things so seriously. And especially after the pandemic, but even without it, in adulthood, adults laugh like 10 times less than children. We've given up our sense of humor. We take things too seriously. We work too hard, which leads to burnout, which leads to frustration, which leads to health problems and stress and overwork. And so I found no negative side effects of play, but there's a ton of positive ones. So salespeople sell 37% more. When you play more and laugh more, you smile more, which makes you more attractive to the opposite sex, which means studies have shown you have more sex, which helps all kinds of physical benefits, right?
Yeah.
If you play and exercise, you weigh less than other people, you look healthier, you have less chronic stress problems. And so all of that is wrapped up into what I call Playful Humans, is kind of my personal mission, almost charity work, to help people go out and have fun. And I do that with game shows and stuff now.
I love it. I love it. All right. You ready for your next song? We got two left. Almost. It's a great song.
It is a really great song. Yeah, if you've never heard Bowling for Soup before, go check them out. Most people know, like, oh gosh, I'm gonna lose their songs now because I would just confuse them. I was gonna say Stacy's Mom, but that's Fountains of Wayne. But in this genre is also when I was on radio and having fun. Bowling for Soup, almost, I love, because it is all about like almost got the homecoming queen. I almost got a good job. I almost became famous. I almost did this. And I feel like that's a good kind of theme for my life too. Like, I've almost been cool. I've almost been a celebrity a few times. I've almost had everything that I wanted and stuff, which is a great place to be. I think once you realize that there is no finished, there is no like I made it, there is no happily ever after, there's just kind of the next step of things. I think that's when you really realize like what life is all about. It's not about getting to a destination. We're not supposed to hurry up and hit our goals and then die. Like, that's not the point. The point is to enjoy the ride. And then you can, I think those are some of the best stories, even if they don't happen, right? It's like, I almost successfully opened for Billy Idol. I almost, I played in a celebrity soccer game and stuff, and like almost scored a goal on a really famous MLS soccer player and stuff. And you're like, okay, well, would have been a cooler story if I did, but I still like did it. I still tried it, and I still put myself out there, and I still have those stories. So I think that's a great lesson.
I love it. So if you could be any superhero in the world, who would you be and why?
Oh, superheroes are my bag. I feel like as a child or younger, I would lean on Superman or Batman. Batman got dark as he got older and stuff. So I like that he didn't have superpowers, right? He's just like a normal human. Superman, you like because he has all the best superpowers. You're basically invincible, which helps a lot when you're a kid because all you feel is vulnerable, right? But now that I have a sense of humor and stuff, I think I would go with somebody more fun like Green Lantern or Iron Man.
I love it. Awesome. Well, you ready for your last song?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm closing my eyes and picking. Thought we
Hey!
did a good one. Chasing the Sunshine. Why do you love that song so much, Mike?
Well, I was looking for a podcast theme song for Playful Humans, and I needed something fun. I needed something that was about going out and playing. So in Chasing the Sunshine, they talk about, today's the day, like go out and play, go live your dreams, like go make stuff happen, which is really my MO and motto these days with Playful Humans. It's got a great beat. It's fun. It was a stock music site, which I could get the royalties to. So check out Pink Zebra and we'll give them lots of love. I don't even know who that is, but they wrote some incredible like royalty-free music there. And Chasing the Sunshine, everybody says when they come on the show, they're like, that's a really good theme song. It even says like, go out and play. And there's different parts to it and melody. So It's perfect for everything that I needed for that show. And now that I've heard it at least 75 times doing these recordings, I still love it. I think it's my personal motto and my theme song now. If I could have one that would describe all about what I'm about now, it's that one.
I love it. So I always want to get some words of wisdom, right? So out of all your adversities, all the stuff that you've been through, what are some words of wisdom that you would leave somebody?
I think there are two really important lessons. The first one is that you're enough. There's not anything that you have to be. There's nothing that you should be. All of these rules about what you feel like you should do are made up by everybody else, and they're not important. They're not anything that even leads to happiness. It usually leads for other people reaching whatever goals or motivations that they have. So an example of that is the concept of retirement. Was invented by 1900 era Nazi Germany as a way to get some of the older people out of the workforce, set them up in retirement homes and things with the care that they needed so they could actually stop working, but also to promote younger workers into older positions to cycle things out. Has nothing to do with being successful or happy in today's modern era. And so that would be my second lesson is don't forget to live for today. It's great to save and you don't want to sabotage, or you want to make sure you have some money and things, and you don't ruin your health with drugs or alcohol or going off a bender now, because you do want tomorrow too. But I think if you can live today to enjoy it, to be playful, to find connections and creativity and fun and playfulness with other people, your life will be better tomorrow. You'll be more fulfilled. You'll be more rested. You'll be more energetic. And if you only grind doing things you feel like you should do or that are obligations for you, you're going to be more tired tomorrow. You're going to get worn down and you're going to burn out because it's not sustainable. So find some sort of energy management in your life rather than time management.
I love that. So before we go, I want you just to tell the audience, where can we find you? What do you got going on in your life? Just tell me everything.
Well, sure. The two websites are pretty easy. Playful Humans is at playfulhumans.com. Also, since you're listening to a podcast, maybe whatever you're listening to this on right now, search for Playful Humans. Check it out. Find somebody that you think would be interesting to listen to. Like I said, whether you're a creator and a writer or a performer and an entertainer, check out somebody that relates to you and hear their story about how they made it. And then if I can help you, if you need a motivational speaker, a team building workshop, we host private game shows for people virtually and in person. Check out MikeMontague.com. That's where you can find and connect with me. And I'd love to hear from you. If you had fun, definitely reach out and let's play together.
I love it. Thank you so much for joining us today on Music Junkies. Please like, subscribe, follow, all those things that I hate talking about, but we know what we have to do. And then, Mike, if you can just share your experience on the show. Did you have a good time?
And then I had so much fun. It was great to hear the songs and go through the stories, especially since we did it kind of in chronological order and got to tell the story of my life and relive some of my highlights. I think that is super cool. It's an amazing creative format, and you're a great interview. And I love the sidebar questions that you threw in about the superhero and other stuff. That makes it fun too.